Hey, thanks for joining us. Since the weather has gotten kind of chilly on us, we actually recently in South Dakota got 9 inches of snow, and it's only September 8th. So we will see how this winter is going to go. I'm hoping that the other states that are really in need of this moisture get some too. I know Wyoming was struggling, so hopefully our neighbors get it. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for warmer weather, it sounds like it'll be at the end of the week, so that'll be good. But anyway, in the meantime, instead of turning my heat on, because I know it's going to be back to the 90s by the weekend, we're going to do some baking. And we're going to do the pineapple upside down cake. So I like them. I've only made this one once. We're going to do it again. We're going to use the bigger skillet. And this is going to be Jerry's 12-inch cast iron skillet. And essentially it's going to be more of a test of his seasoning than anything, because we're going to see if it flips out when we're done. So between my buttering and his seasoning, we'll see how this goes. Then we're going to make a pineapple upside down cake using the cast iron. This one is a 12-inch cast iron skillet. The biggest thing you want to worry about with these is making sure your finish is good. If you don't have a good finish or a good seasoning, then it's going to stick. So make sure your pan or your skillet is seasoned before you use it. What we're going to do today is we're going to butter the skillet. 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to use the little blue brush here just to kind of help me evenly distribute it. Now let me say this before you get started, make sure you turn your oven on to 350 degrees. So that way while you're doing this, it can pre-warm. So I'm going to try and get the sides here really well, because I do not want this to stick. Although this big skillet is seasoned really, really well, a little bit of help doesn't hurt. So that looks good. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a half a cup of brown sugar, and let me be specific here, half a cup of packed brown sugar, so make sure it's packed in there really nice. Otherwise you're not going to get enough, and you sprinkle it on the bottom here. So that way you get a nice even coating. This is going to go for your pineapple and just make everything taste delicious. So as even as you can, don't be too worried about it. It's going to kind of melt into the butter anyway and distribute itself, so there you go. Now we're going to use, as you can see, actually whole pineapple slices, because they're going to give us a really pretty presentation here. What you do is you just lay them in the bottom, like so. This is going to be what makes your pineapple upside down cake extra pretty. Don't worry too much about it if you miss too many or have too many. If you have too many, just cut them up and put them in the little blank spots here. It's perfect. I'm going to take a couple, and you can cut them if you're a perfectionist. I just tear them, and I just add them to these little portions here. And I'm not worried about the holes. The simple fact that we're going to add some cherries here in just a moment. We're going to grab our cherries. Now the recipe that I'm going to give you actually calls for 16 cherries. I like cherries. I have to combat Jerry for cherries. So if I want cherries, I got to put extra. Because apparently in my house we like cherries. And then you just insert them here. Make sure there's no seeds, no pits. Every once in a while you'll find one that didn't get pitted. Also make sure that you have no stems. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Now, since we got our pan set up, we're going to go ahead and do our batter. We're going to start with 3 eggs. I use 3 large eggs, yolk included. You'll need a half a cup of vegetable oil. You'll need 1 cup of pineapple juice, which comes from the canned pineapple. And then I like to whisk those real quick, just so that way they're combined before I add the mix. We're going to be using the yellow cake mix. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not going to make from scratch. Nobody got time for that. So we're just going to make sure this is simple. So anyway, that's all mixed together. It looks good. We're going to take just 1 standard box of cake mix, nothing fancy. You can use any brand you want, but this is just the yellow moist cake mix. Alright, and in she goes. So give her a whisk here. You can use a hand beater if you want. I do have a KitchenAid, but you know, Who wants to use KitchenAid? Biggest thing is I do not want to clean it. Again, we're trying to stay simple. So minimum mess, minimum cleanup, minimum effort, maximum cake. You know, I'm not going to worry too much about these little lumps because they'll work themselves out. Evenly distribute it the best you can. Again, it'll pretty much take care of itself once it's in the oven. Even that out just a little bit. So we're nice and covered. It's nice and even. The oven is set to 350 degrees. We're going to pop this in the oven, let it bake for about 45 minutes, and then we will double check it, and we'll see how it comes out. Alright guys, here we go. See how she's turning out. She's nice and browned up here. So we're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to scrape the sides, and then we will do a flip. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a knife, and we're just going to go around the sides real quick. We're just going to use a butter knife here. And then we're going to flip it onto the butter board. Alright. So Jerry's helping me here since that cast iron is just, it's huge. And it takes 2 hands for me. So there we go. One beautiful upside down pineapple cake. And we'll let that cool down a little more. Alright, here we go guys. This is the finished product. And it's looking beautiful. This is made for my birthday dinner. And then Jerry made an extra special treat tonight. He made some beef Wellington. Look at that, that's beautiful. So we got beef Wellington on the sides. We got a sweet potato toward the back. Look at that. Those are marshmallows. They're awesome. And that is shiitake mushroom and onion in the front. So we're going to see how this goes. I guarantee you it will be delicious. I will have no regrets eating this. If you want Jerry's recipe for making his beef Wellington, just let us know. Drop a comment, a like. If you could subscribe and share, that would be awesome. But yeah, let us know. If you want that recipe, Jerry's more than happy to share it.
Happy birthday!